Hey YouTube, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with The View from the Pew. Today I want to talk about something that is kind of interesting and something that is a phenomenon that has almost become somewhat mainstream, and that is prepping and the show Doomsday Preppers. Some of you have probably seen it before, but specifically I want to talk about a key aspect of being prepared that a lot of preppers don't consider or are going to totally miss, and is really going to mess up their plans. Okay, now if you're not familiar with preppers or the show Doomsday Preppers, let me just say there are a bunch of people in the world, quite a number of them in fact, who feel that for some reason or another the world is going to end. Maybe it's going to be World War III, maybe it's a nuclear strike or an EMP strike, maybe it is, you know, a virus, a killer virus that's going to wipe out the population, rising water temperatures or rising water levels due to global warming, all kinds of different things that people are worried about and therefore want to prepare for, hence the term prepper, prepare, prep, okay? And so they do all kinds of different things to prepare. They store food and water, they secure their shelter, and sometimes it's more than just their house, sometimes their whole property is designed to be defended against, you know, the raving hordes of lawless hooligans that are going to be out there. They often store ammo and firearms, and so now that's what a prepper is, and all of the things they do they call preps. Okay, so you know they might have water preps and food preps and ammo preps and all kinds of different things. All right, so that's what preppers are. Okay, now let me say as we're going through here that I'm not opposed to being prepared for bad things happening. In fact, I would say one of the things you can be pretty sure of in this life is that bad things are going to happen. Okay, however, there is one key element that preppers are missing, and that key element is the one thing they really depend on for their preps to be successful. Okay, so if you turn over to 2 Peter chapter 3, you can read some things there about the end of the world. Let me read for you, beginning in verse 10. There, the Apostle Peter writing here says, "But the day of the Lord will come like a thief. The heavens will disappear with a roar. The elements will be destroyed by fire, and the earth and everything in it will be laid bare. Since everything will be destroyed in this way, what kind of people ought you to be?" Now, the key thing that I want to focus on for a second before we move on to a more important point is it doesn't matter what kind of resources you've stored, how much water you have, how efficient of a water purification system you've designed, and how many seeds you have in storage that you can plant and harvest for crops. None of that stuff matters when the world ends, as Peter describes it, because there will be no world left for you to depend on. There's no surviving. There's no planting crops. There's no nothing. It's going to be destroyed. And so what Peter does say is, hey, if you know the world's going to end, you should be prepared. So for all of you preppers out there, you are on the right track. Okay? Peter said, you better be ready for the end of the world, because it is coming. But the key is that the preparation that needs to be made is not physical. It's spiritual. And it is to realize that although this whole world, everything around you, the things you can touch and feel, your house, your car, all the stuff that you depend on and love and devote yourself to, all that stuff is going to be gone. This world is temporary. But you, if you're watching this, if you've clicked on that button, you are eternal. You're going to last forever. And so what I'm going to suggest to you is that you take seriously the idea of preparing for the end of the world. But not that you do it by storing water and food and all kinds of things. I mean, if you want to do that and it's kind of a hobby for you, have at it. But more importantly, you need to be prepared for the time when this world no longer exists. Because you are going to be here for eternity, and where you spend that eternity matters. I want to tell you about another prepper that I know about in conclusion. And if anyone wants to know more about this, I would really encourage you to send me a PM to get in touch with a friend or family member who you know who can teach you more about this. But in John chapter 14, Jesus says, now listen, in my Father's house are many rooms. If it were not so, I would have told you. I am going to prepare a place for you. And so the ultimate prepping is to depend on the place that Jesus is preparing and make sure that that's a place where you get to be for eternity in the Father's house. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you later.